In the bleakest of times, a man no one knew became the hero Britain needed.
Lovely story coming up. A 99-year-old war veteran has decided to walk 100 lengths of his back garden.
It was a story that made us sit up and pay attention. The biggest story of our professional careers.
Captain Tom became a symbol of resilience.
Tomorrow everything will be much better than today. Tomorrow will be a good day.
Not to mention a fundraising phenomenon.
Thank you, Captain Tom from the NHS.
You are the UK's official #1.
That really is truly amazing, isn't it?
But another story was also unfolding about his close family.
It would have broken his heart, honestly, if we'd said to him, you know, people are hating us.
Can you just tell us why you decided to build it despite not having approval?
Nearly 4 years since the UK media gathered in the Bedfordshire village of Marston Moor. Now the media are back for very different reasons.
There wasn't enough separation between what was being done for the foundation and what was being done for the family.
Now, Captain Tom's legacy could be in ruins.
They've lost all that goodness that we had. They got it wrong, and now they're paying the price.
It's the 5th of April 2020. The Prime Minister has just been admitted to hospital with COVID-19. And for 2 weeks, people have been adjusting to the most severe restrictions on personal freedoms since World War II.
Morning. Morning.
Step up 99-year-old Tom Moore, who lives in one of the grandest houses in Marston Moor with his daughter Hannah, her husband Colin, a chartered accountant, and their 2 children. In the afternoon, he's recovering strength on his walker after falling in the kitchen and breaking a hip.
Benji and Georgia were flipping the burgers on the barbecue. Colin and I were topping up our wine glasses, and it was my husband who said, "Oh, keep walking, Tom. We can't give you a 100th birthday, but we'll give you £1 a lap."
For Hannah, with a background in business, Colin's quip presents an opportunity.
Hi, I'm Hannah, daughter of Tom. Tom is about to turn 100. And in aid of the NHS and the incredible care he has in fact received over the last 18 months, he's walking in support of the combined charities.
Tom will walk 100 lengths of his garden with the goal of raising £1,000.
I'm Captain Moore. I'm walking for the NHS.
I think when Hannah came on live for that first interview, I think the target was £1,000. And then I think the next time she came on, it was over £100,000. So that's how quickly things move.
It takes 4 days for Captain Tom to go national, beginning with the first of many appearances on BBC Breakfast.
I get up quite early, listening to Naga and Charlie with giving out their news, and I'm always absolutely taken aback with the appearance of both of them. They're looking so super.
I know your dad's struggling to hear. Can you just say a big thank you from me and Amy? Because that's the nicest things anyone said for ages.
And here's your host on Terry.
For 99 years, Tom's experience of the media spotlight has been limited to this TV appearance in 1983.
And where are you from? Tipsend. Same for you.
Born in Keighley in Yorkshire, Tom worked in the construction industry and managed a concrete pipe business. He was conscripted into the army aged 21 and served in India and Burma, where he became an armoured vehicle instructor. Now, in the twilight of his life, Tom is on the cusp of a charitable achievement that will eclipse all others and leave PR executives scratching their heads.
What we saw here was that a hero came from another generation. He rose again, if you like, from the Second World War to set an example to all of us on how we could behave, how we should behave. And he connected the heroes of the Second World War with the heroes of the NHS.
You may have heard the name Captain Tom Moore.
A 100-year-old British war vet.
Captain Tom Moore.
He shot to international...
Interest from the global media explodes, and with his daughter's help, Tom Moore will carry out an estimated 800 interviews.
Inches to go, and there he is. Congratulations.
Captain Tom reaches his initial target of 100 lengths in 10 days and is given a Guard of Honour from the 1st Battalion of the Yorkshire Regiment.
How do you feel this morning?
Fine. Yes. I'm surrounded by the right sort of people, so yes, I feel fine. I hope you're all feeling fine too.
Donations to the Just Giving page have exceeded £15 million. But with 2 weeks until his 100th birthday, Captain Tom's appeal will soar to new heights, and public figures are lining up to be part of it.
As an adopted Yorkshireman, I've come to recognise true Yorkshire grit, and your story is an inspiration to us all.
He's a one-man fundraising machine, and God knows what the final total will be, but good on him.
I've been trying to think of a song. When you walk through a storm, hold your head up high.
Congratulations, because you are the UK's official #1.
That's lovely. It's really hard to say what it is, because
So funny.
it really is.
Dozens of buildings, vehicles and animals are named after Captain Tom, including this Great Western train, a rescue boat, a police puppy and several foals.
Good morning, Captain Tom. Naga here. How does it feel? 100 years old today.
I don't know what you're meant to feel like when you get to be 100. I've never been 100 before.
Happy birthday to you.
Captain Tom's centenary celebrations are packed with tributes.
Happy birthday, Captain Tom, Daddy Grandpa. Happy birthday to you.
I know I speak for the whole country when I say we wish you a very happy 100th birthday.
He's appointed an honorary colonel by the Army Foundation College in Harrogate. And an RAF Spitfire and a Hurricane perform a fly past over his home. When the Just Giving page closes at midnight, the fund tops £33 million, £38.9 million with gift aid, money that goes directly to the NHS charity's urgent COVID appeal.
We are incredibly grateful for everything that Captain Tom did. We've supported over 1 million NHS staff, particularly with their mental health and their physical health through rest spaces and counselling. Over 600,000 patients.
Captain Tom's fairy tale, as he described it, has come to an end, and the little village of Marston Mortain will never feel the same.
Our village's name will be associated in everyone's mind with such a wonderfully positive thing.
They were all just so proud. They were all so proud that our place here that we live in, that nobody's heard of, now suddenly knows all about us, and this wonderful man that we've known about for years, who lives in our community, who's now showing the world that there is a little bit of hope out there.
This was the biggest story of our professional careers, of something that didn't have any marketing, it didn't have PR objectives, no brief, no plan. This was just the good news story that we wanted at that time.
Can you hold the cake, please? You don't have to eat it, just look like you're loving it.
But the fairy tale isn't over, and now the British public is invested.
Beneath a wave of adulation for Captain Tom, on social media, his daughter and son-in-law are being attacked, including in a viral WhatsApp message which accuses them of lining their own pockets from the Just Giving campaign. The claims are untrue, but separately, the Ingram Moors have begun down a path that will lead them to far bigger problems.
On the 24th of April, they set up Club Nook, a private company. Then, a week after Captain Tom's 100th birthday, they create the Captain Tom Foundation to raise money for organisations supporting the elderly. It will soon become a registered charity. And days after announcing his autobiography, the Ingram Moors apply to register Captain Tom as a trademark with Club Nook, giving them ownership of the brand. Within months, it will begin generating an income for the Captain Tom Foundation and the private company.
You've got an autobiography coming out later, you've got a children's picture book as well, and all this is supporting your foundation.
Enjoying their newfound celebrity, Tom and Hannah begin to promote various books.
I'm starting to write my memoirs and I'm having to rack my brains to remember all the things that happened during the lifetime, which is quite a long time.
Tomorrow Will Be a Good Day will be published by Penguin just 4 months later. But separately, Tom and his family's relationship with the media is changing. Tired of press intrusion at their home, Hannah appeals to Nick Knowles, the host of DIY SOS, who sees to it that 80 metres of fencing is installed free of charge. Lawyers Shillings have words with the press regulator about snooping photojournalists, and the family take on various PR agencies to handle the deluge of media requests.
I remember phoning up somebody about his 100th birthday, almost pleading with them, look, we were the first radio station to do this interview. We need to be there on his 100th birthday. It got so big, so quick, and I think the family found it quite difficult to try and control what they were doing day by day.
Tom, can I just ask, how are you feeling about going to see the Queen this afternoon?
I'm absolutely overwhelmed by that. I mean, it isn't everybody gets the chance to see the Queen, is it?
Going off to see the Queen. How exciting!
Captain Tom is at Windsor Castle for a private audience with Elizabeth II, who has been isolating since March. This, he will say, was his most special moment.
I just need to make sure he can hear you. So you have that. If you can't hear, I'll come back.
Okay.
The last 15 weeks have been, well, it must have been a real whirlwind for you.
When you think that about 4 months ago, I was just Tom Moore. Now I'm Sir Tom Moore. I mean, no one could ever have believed that in that time this would happen to me, and I've been really honoured.
Thank you very much for letting us be here.
Was that all? Well, now it's, all this metalwork reflects the heat, so it's all right.
The autumn of 2020 brings more excitement. A reported 7-figure sum is paid for the rights to make a film about Sir Tom. The production company has declined to say if Club Nook was the beneficiary. Captain Sir Tom's gin is launched, and proceeds go to the Captain Tom Foundation. Then, on the 11th of December, narrowly avoiding COVID restrictions on travel, the family is treated to a holiday by British Airways and the Barbados Tourist Board after Sir Tom let slip during a live interview that the island was on his bucket list. They stay at this luxury beachfront villa and hang out with Cliff Richard and Russ Abbott.
What a year it's been for all of us. Also, of course, for the wonderful Captain Sir Tom Moore.
Before their trip, the family mock up photographs and record an interview that airs on Christmas Day.
This year, of course, it can't be quite the same for everyone, but things will get better and next year will be all right.
In 9 months, Sir Tom has become one of the most famous men on the planet, accomplishing more in his 100th year than most people in their lifetime.
Thank you all very much.
Today at 6, Captain Sir Tom Moore has died in hospital with the coronavirus.
I invite members to now join me for a minute's silence to commemorate Sir Tom's life.
Following this silence in Parliament, Sir Tom's death triggers petitions for a national silence, a Captain Tom statue, and a state funeral at Westminster Abbey. In the end, the COVID ritual of standing outside and clapping is rekindled one last time on doorsteps of the nation's leaders, and at Bedford Hospital, whose care of Captain Tom inspired his walk. But abuse directed at the family is intensifying, and online, people are furious about the Barbados holiday.
We really had to use our family resilience, our emotional resilience, and we never told him because I don't think he could ever have understood it. I think it would have broken his heart, honestly, if we'd said to him, you know, people are hating us
When it's somebody that you can identify with, this could be my neighbor, we've just all donated tons of money. That makes people feel a lot more outraged. And so a lot of the outrage online is actually geared towards this sense of wanting to punish other people.
Notwithstanding the helicopter and the broadcast camera inside the service, the funeral is a private event for close family and subject to COVID restrictions. However, Hannah isn't ready to withdraw from the public eye. Work on a legacy has already begun. The day before Sir Tom's death, the couple were made trustees of the foundation, and 6 weeks later, Hannah will step down when she's asked to become its interim CEO. The charity's first big fundraiser is launched at Lord's Cricket Ground.
This is all for him, and it's all for that lasting legacy of hope that he's left us with.
Whatever you can do, do it 100 times and help raise money for charity.
The Captain Tom 100 Challenge raises over £1.3 million.
5, 6.
And Hannah is on a roll. On the 16th of August, the Charity Commission consents for her to be employed as CEO of the Captain Tom Foundation on a salary set by the trustees of £85,000 pro rata, a position she will hold for 9 months on a 3-month rolling contract. In November, the local council permits her and Colin's application to construct, with their own money, a single-storey Captain Tom Foundation building beside their home, principally to store memorabilia, including 225,000 birthday cards.
And Captain Sir Tom's daughter Hannah is here with us for the first time, actually here in the studio.
And by December, she's promoting another fundraiser.
We will have, from now on, set up fundraising activities, culminating in the Captain Tom Day. The money will come into the Captain Tom Foundation. We will set up a committee specifically to find out where we can then have the greatest impact.
But Captain Tom Day never arrives.
The Charity Commission is looking into the accounts of the foundations set up by the family of the World War II veteran Captain Sir Tom Moore.
And the fundraising regulator has concerns.
Accounts published by the Captain Tom Foundation show that in its first year it spent £240,000 on running costs and consultants, which is more than it gave to charities. The Charity Commission will later say that these specific payments were reasonable expenses, but not before the news is seized upon by the family's critics.
People feel that they've been robbed, at least psychologically, right? It's one thing that if somebody on the street steals your wallet and it happens out of nowhere, but if you think that you just did something good for the world and then it turns out that you've just been lining somebody else's pocket, I think psychologically that feels extra bad.
Hannah tries to manage the fallout in an interview on ITV.
This has just been a shocking amount of negativity that's been really honed directly at me personally, but we're not hiding anything. Now, I'm guarding my father's legacy. Like, that's how we feel with the guardians. We'd never hurt it.
But there is worse to come.
We are formally investigating any potential conflicts of interest between the family and the charity.
Now the Charity Commission is examining whether the couple broke the rules by benefiting privately from its public links to the Captain Tom Foundation.
Through the Captain Tom Foundation, we have a mission to inspire hope where it is needed most.
Money raised by the charity walk is not part of the inquiry.
Those funds have all been spent. They have gone through the length and breadth of the NHS. The Captain Tom Foundation is a completely separate organisation to NHS Charities Together, and the Charity Commission has made it very clear that the funds he raised for our appeal are not part of their investigation.
And there are more problems in the mail. The couple have been served a demolition order by Central Bedfordshire Council. Their proposed L-shaped building has become a larger, unauthorised C-shape, and according to a revised planning application, contains a spa pool for private use. Residents have signed a petition calling the complex ugly and overbearing.
It's an eyesore. I definitely would not have bought this property if that had been in the background.
It looks more like I don't know, prison camp of some sort, concentration camp, horrible building.
Amid swirling controversy, the Captain Tom Foundation announces in July 2023 that it will no longer accept donations. But the bad news keeps coming.
Questions for the daughter of Captain Sir Tom Moore as Newsnight reveals payments were made to her company for appearances in connection with her late father's charity.
As Newsnight reveals, Hannah is being investigated by her own charity. The Captain Tom Foundation alleges she didn't tell its then trustees, one of whom is her husband, about a partnership with Virgin Media O2 while its interim CEO, in which she judged various community awards featuring the charity's logo. 2 months later, in an exclusive interview with Piers Morgan, Hannah admits her and Colin's Matrix business received £18,000 for the appearances. She gave £2,000 to the foundation.
I have to work for a living, and that relationship with them was an ongoing relationship.
But you were being paid £85,000 a year for that job.
Well, absolutely, in hindsight, the two things should have been separated.
The awards themselves had the Captain Tom Foundation name associated, so the charity was clearly associated with the awards. So it would be very, very unusual for any chief executive to be paid a personal fee when appearing in their role as chief executive for a charity.
Virgin Media said they weren't aware of concerns about Matrix or the Captain Tom Foundation when the payments were made. The Captain Tom Foundation has not responded to any of our questions. The Piers Morgan interview delivers another bombshell. Under increasing pressure, the Ingram Moores reveal they kept the profits of Captain Tom's 3 books, a sum of around £1.5 million.
They were Captain Tom's books, and his wishes were that that money would sit in Club Nook. And in the end...
for you to keep?
Yes.
Was there anything on any of the books that referred to the Captain Tom Foundation?
Absolutely not. They were never anything to do with the charity.
And yet the book was launched on the same day as the charity, when Hannah claimed everything would support the foundation.
We're being really careful that everything we do is for the right reasons, and throughout, everything we touch will be supporting the Captain Tom Foundation.
In addition, on the charity's website, it's claimed the autobiography, as well as a children's book, will support the Captain Tom Foundation. And in the book's prologue, Sir Tom writes that with this memoir, he's been given the chance to raise even more money for the foundation. It's clear, reading the online reviews of Tomorrow Will Be a Good Day, that at least some verified owners of the book thought that the proceeds would go to charity. For instance, in November 2020, one reviewer simply writes, "A great way of making a donation to charity," which they follow with, "I've not read it though."
It is all of those factors that have caused the problem with the book, not the fact that he wrote it and wanted the money to go to his family, if that is the case, but the fact that the foundation was publicising it, and there was a perception, certainly for the public, that sales of the book would result in donations and contributions to the charity.
Penguin Random House said it was proud to have published the books, but declined to comment further. There is no suggestion the Ingram Moores have done anything illegal. They have not responded to any of our questions. Hannah Ingram Moore deleted her Twitter account shortly after the Piers Morgan interview, but the questions keep coming. In October, the couple's lawyer reveals the Captain Tom Foundation is to be closed down during an appeal hearing against the demolition of the spa building.
Why did you decide to go ahead with the pool, the spa pool, despite not having any planning permission? Can you just tell us why you decided to build it despite not having approval? When did you decide it would be used for rehabilitation classes?
The Ingram Moores said the spa could be used by older people to do Pilates, but the planning inspectorate finds any such benefits would not outweigh the harms. And on the 3rd anniversary of Sir Tom's death, the pool is craned out of the roof, while the rest of the building must be torn down. Hannah will later say the complex was never intended to be connected to the Captain Tom Foundation, and that the planning application had been lost in translation.
There's going to be a lot of upheaval for them, for everybody in the village, and it's got to come down. They got it wrong, and now they're paying the price. They've lost all that goodness that we had.
This truck is just leaving with what's left of the debris. It's taken around a week to gradually dismantle this building. That's after the spa had to be removed, of course, as well as a home cinema, a toilet, and several boxes of Captain Tom memorabilia.
The original planning permission was submitted as the Captain Tom Foundation building. So it wasn't just the Captain Tom building, it wasn't just associated with his name, it was clearly associated with the name of the charity. So there's quite a lot in there that's problematic.
At the moment, when you mention the name Captain Sir Tom, it doesn't represent what he did. There is this cloud over the legacy, and his legacy still carries on now because that money was invested. So his great work does continue, and we should always remember the man and what he did.
It was public opinion that shaped the campaign and raised 30 million, and then it's also partly public opinion and outrage that leads to the demise of the subsequent charity that was set up. The question is, to what extent is the outrage proportional to the quote-unquote crime? That's the challenge we're facing with this campaign and many other things that are happening in the world at the moment.
In 4 years, the homespun story of a charity walk grew bigger than anyone could imagine, or its authors could control.
It's the thing that I always believed when I said, tomorrow's a good day. I think a lot of people took on to that, and yes, it is, because tomorrow could be a good day. The fact it never comes is another story.
You can't say that. You can't say that.